This video is a collaboration of the voices of young people in regards to the discussion of cultural appropriation. It displays the many facets and dimensions of this controversy while still acknowledging the disadvantaged. Within today's fashion industry, one of the main controversies being discussed is cultural appropriation. Before we dive into the definition and background information, I interviewed students around the campus of the University of San Francisco to define it for themselves. After realizing many of their answers were similar, I made the video more fluid by intertwining what they had to say. The interview questions were, how would you define cultural appropriation? Have you ever felt personally affected by cultural appropriation or by being accused of doing so? Do you believe cultural appropriation is a major issue in the fashion industry? Why or why not?
I would define cultural appropriation as
when another culture intentionally takes aspects of a different culture without giving any type of credit or acknowledgement that they're taking it.
Like, if you're using someone's culture but you're not respecting it, I guess, if that makes sense.
A form of like disrespecting other cultures through like the way you dress or the way you would like express yourself through your style.
I don't personally know the definition of cultural appropriation, but if I were to put together like a form of definition, I'd say it's
someone wearing something that is known to be, native to a certain culture, and someone wearing it and they are not part of that culture.
Borrowing of someone's culture without regard to a specific culture's heritage or purpose to
kind of take from the meaning. They're not wearing it for what it truly means.
Taking one aspect from a culture that is popularized or fetishized,
and basically sort of decrease the value in it, and they don't respect like what it originally stood for.
If a black woman wants to wear braids and they say, oh, you can't wear that at work or you can't wear that at school, but then they would let someone white do the same thing, I would consider that to be cultural appropriation.
In high school, I think I was a sophomore, I came to this class with the orange bandana on, just like, it wasn't gang affiliated or related or anything like that, it was just a part of my outfit, and the teacher told me to remove it. And then a couple of days later, another student, a white student, came in with a red bandana on, and the teacher didn't say anything, didn't acknowledge it.
If a black girl does it, it's ghetto, but if a white girl does it, it's fashionable.
You're taking something from someone else's culture, but at the same time you impose unfair standards on that same group of people that uses whatever thing that may be.
It's a little uncomfortable to see someone who like doesn't know like the meaning of it.
I feel like it's more of a form of acceptance, appreciation instead of appropriation.
We're always continuously taking aspects of black culture, in my opinion, whether it be, box braids and calling them boxer braids.
But I've seen people appropriate my culture,
There is a festival called Dia de los Muertos for many Mexicans around the world, and I feel like a lot of people, and even what I've seen here in San Francisco, have used Dia de los Muertos as an extension of Halloween.
Most of the time it's costumes or someone, just dressing up, taking photos, and it's clearly a culture that they're not a part of.
I feel like the fact that they're proud enough to like wear it, or like they like it enough to wear it to like a really important event, shows like appreciation for it.
Sometimes they do cross that line, but it's not as big of a problem, I think, as it was when it first started like surfacing, like a lot of like Halloween costumes and a lot of like prints that were stolen and they were like passed off as someone else's.
Honestly, personally, I don't feel like they're like offending me or like that what they're wearing is making me feel like they're like passing a line,
I can definitely say I've seen clothing that goes against different cultures, but it can be argued in one way and then the other.
In the end, I think it's okay for someone to be ignorant at first of what they might be wearing, But I think the ultimate goal for someone to reach is to self-evaluate yourself and educate yourself about the cultures or the heritage in which you're trying to emulate in the clothing that you wear.